But I remember back in the day, everybody that felt like they were supposed to be a singer, an actor, that just knew they had big dreams, knew that they had to get to LA. And I even want to say New York. Hey you guys, welcome back to this channel. I am Darian and I'm excited for another video today. This topic I actually really love because I find it so fascinating. Have you ever felt like you were too big for a certain city, for a certain territory, for a certain area? And I don't mean it in a way that you're better than anybody that is there. Not at all. But it is true that there are certain places and spaces that are meant for you, especially as you start to elevate and go up in life and, do all the things. You may notice that you are finding yourself being pulled to different places, whether that's a different state, city, maybe even country for some people, or even just like your normal where you go, whereabouts and everything. You're being pulled to different places because as you elevate, you have to be able to transition fully in your life. Otherwise, things from your past can try to pull you back or even try to hinder you from getting to that next place. So today, let's talk about location, being too big for a certain location, okay, and how you may know that you are too big for a location. I was actually led to do this video because a couple of weeks ago I was out of town, and I always meet people out of town. It's just like the opportunities just come where I'm able to talk to random people and make connections. And I was actually at the spa in like the little hot tub thing, and this lady came and got in, and we actually had a very good conversation even outside of this particular part that I'm going to be talking about. So she was talking about how she's familiar with a certain place that I'm familiar with, and particularly I'm talking about city. She was saying how her sister actually goes to school in the city, and she was just saying how when she got off of the plane, mind you, she lives in LA. She's from LA, okay? So LA is Hollywood. Most people are trying to put their best foot forward because LA is known for superstars. LA is known for Hollywood. LA is known for wealth. So in that area, it is important, okay, to keep up with certain things that in another area people may not care about. So different territories, different cities do carry different energy. So every territory has a different spiritual difference. I've been trying to figure out for a little bit, trying to figure out how to say what I'm saying. So basically every territory is going to be different than another territory, and you'll know based off of, I'm very spiritual, so I can easily could just be going about my day, and if I'm in one area, I can pick up the different influences spiritually that happens over a certain territory, and then I can just drive down, let's say 20-30 minutes, and be in a whole nother area, and spiritually I'll feel lighter. Spiritually things will feel different. And this is true about the places that you go. You may notice when you're in certain areas, you may feel more sad or down, and it's not even that anything happened. It's just the whatever is ruling over that certain location may be affecting you. This is why it's important to know where you're meant to be, what cities you're meant to stay in, what places, even down to your neighborhood where you stay. You need to know what is for you and what is not for you. You need to know what goes down in these different spaces. Are you able to spiritually withstand and be strong? And I know it may be too deep for some people, okay? Then this video is just not for you. But if you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. I also want to leave this here. This is why it's so important to pray over the territory that you stay in. Like not even just talking about your home, but even your neighborhoods. Pray over those places, okay? Because there are spiritual forces that you may not see that may be affecting the place. This is why you always hear certain things happen in maybe this neighborhood, or over here, this keeps happening, okay? So you get what I'm saying? Okay, back to what I was saying. So she was like, she got off the plane and she had on her Gucci glasses, and she stepped foot in the city. And she was like, everybody was looking at her like, basically, who do you think you are? Like, just basically, girl, get real. That's how everybody was looking at her. And I automatically already knew what she was talking about. Again, I'm acquainted with this place, so I already knew what she was talking about. And it just automatically hit me. you are not meant to be here. Now, this doesn't mean you can't visit a place or go through a place. And, you know, obviously her sister goes to school there. So she's going to have to visit a place if she wants to see her sister during a certain time period. But that is a clear sign that you stick out. That is a clear sign that your energy, how you carry yourself, what you are meant to do may be bigger than the space that you are in. This is actually coming to mind. I always remember, like, back in the day, even still now, I'm sure people still maybe do this or think like this, but maybe now with social media it may not be as popular to do this, because you can become famous anywhere now with social media. But I remember back in the day, everybody that felt like they were supposed to be a singer, an actor, that just knew they had big dreams, knew that they had to get to LA. And I even want to say New York, okay? They knew that they had to get from their hometown to get to this particular place, okay? To walk out the dreams that they felt in their spirit, that they felt on the inside. There's no coincidence why so many people felt that way or feel that way. So when you know that you're meant to be a star, and this, even if you don't feel like you're meant to be a star, let's just say you're meant to do certain things, there may be certain places that specialize or have the opportunities for you to go and be, to be able to make it to this place. And it may require you moving. It may require you leaving your hometown. It may require you going to different spaces, okay? It may even require you, most often it does require you to leave behind those that you may have known before. Again, not because you're better than them, but because they don't understand the path that you're walking. Sometimes when you start to elevate, the people that maybe were with you in one season start to feel like, oh, who they think they is. Oh, they think they better than me. Oh, they about to go do this. Oh, and people switch up, okay? And they say that it's you switching up by wanting better for yourself. So this is a lot to really keep in mind as you are elevating and going to the next level. Have you ever felt that where you have lived, where you have been, that's people just want to dim your light? People just don't want you to shine your brightest. Now, for me, as an example, I always just love like fabulous clothes, fabulous things, but on a daily basis, like when I'm out and about, this has been since I was younger. I used to always think like, I feel like I could not wear the things I wanted to wear or fully just like step out and pop out and the full fabulousness that I have wanted to, because it was always going to be seen as she doing too much. Why she got this on? Ain't none of us dressed like this. I wear what I want to wear, but I can for sure say that a lot of times I have held myself back from wearing what I want to wear because I already knew what the opinions of others was going to be. I already knew that they were going to feel like I was trying to overpower or overshadow them just by being myself, just by wearing what I want to wear, just by, you know, I just like this. I just want to wear this. So if you are somebody like that, you're in a city or a space and you feel like that, you feel like you're not able to really express yourself the way you want to. And I'm not talking about dramatic where it just looks crazy or just like too much. I'm talking about you want to put your stuff on, okay? If you want to put that on, put your stuff on, okay? People are going to talk anyway. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper into some signs that you are not meant to be in a territory as far as long-term or maybe even living, or maybe not even living. Sometimes it could even just be visiting, and not to be in fear or anything like that, but sometimes some spaces is just not for you to go, okay? And you have to be able to know and discern that. You have to be able to know and discern what's for you and what's not for you in life. I feel like that in itself is a whole job. So number one, you are going, and these are actually going to be coming off the top of my head, okay? So number one, you are going to be rejected when you go into certain spaces. And this isn't even just about living in a certain territory. This could just be about like hanging out in certain spots, hanging out around certain people. Once you start to elevate and get to another space, you may not even feel like you've elevated. You may not even feel like you've gotten to a certain place. You could just be you. And you start to go into certain spaces, you will notice that you will feel rejected, or you may not necessarily always feel rejected, but you can sense the energy is off with people. You can sense they don't really want you there, but they want what you have there. They want your energy there, but they don't want you there because you're the one carrying the energy that they want. And so for this specific example, like how the lady got off the plane and she said everybody was looking at her like something was wrong with her because she had on her Gucci shades and she was just dressed, baby, okay? That particular situation is a case of, because that is not common in that specific space. It's not common in that specific place where people just dress up and put their stuff on. It's almost like she's being rejected because her energy is given, I'm a star, I put that on, okay? I'm dressed up, you know, how I feel on the inside, okay? She was, and essentially, even though she wasn't rejected by anyone actually coming up to her and saying anything, it was kind of like, who is this? Who do you think you are, coming in this territory looking like this, okay? And so that could be a clear sign that you're just not meant to be in a specific territory. Again, it may not always mean to live. It could just be to visit. I do want to make this disclaimer. This is not about walking around in fear. If you feel like you need to go somewhere, you got to get something done, you got to do what you got to do, okay? You cannot be walking around worried about what people think, say, and want to do, okay? Do what you got to do to make sure you're protected. Get what you got to get done and go on with your life, okay? I just want to make that very clear. This is not about avoiding places from fear or anything like that. It's just about knowing where you are meant to be. Okay, number 2 is that you won't prosper in those specific areas or spaces. So not just talking about visiting the place, I'm talking about, but sometimes you can visit places and because of you're not really equipped spiritually to be in those certain places, you can actually go through some tribulations or trials or hardships or different things. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I do believe in the grace of God and the mercy of God, but there are some places you're just not equipped to withstand the spaces. I have traveled places, and when I got back and thought about it, I was like, okay, maybe that was just, I probably shouldn't have just jumped on the whim and went there. Not saying that it was a bad place, but it didn't really fully connect with me spiritually. And when I got back home, I felt like I was being spiritually attacked, okay? I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, I was having nightmares about the place and all this type of stuff. So I was like, okay, this was like on a whim thing, okay? And I've been to quite a few places to know, you know, what feels good and what doesn't. And so you can actually go to places outside of what you are able to handle spiritually. From the natural mind, most people may think, oh, if I want to go here, I'm gonna go here. I can just go wherever I want. I can just do whatever I want. That's not always true, okay? It's not always true, okay? Use wisdom with where you're going. You may notice that if you have gone into a territory that you are not meant to be, or you just, it's just not for you. You even, maybe you just living there too long. You have outweighed your welcome living there. Because this has actually happened to me. When God wanted me to move somewhere, it was time for me to move. It's just like things just started happening around my home space. Not anything bad, but the things that were happening were so out of the norm and just so unnecessary that it was like, okay, I get the hint. Like, I need to move forward. Let's move on to a whole new space. Once I moved, I didn't even realize how much of a shift would happen in my life. Once I moved, it was like this dark haze that I never even noticed I was feeling. And maybe this had to happen for me to realize, okay, this was the right decision. It was like the last maybe few months of living there, I don't know if I was really aware, but it was like a dark haze. And then as soon as I moved into a new territory, into a new area, just like that, I just felt like everything around me was light again. It just felt like, literally felt like the light just cut on. The heaviness that I was starting to feel in that old space went away when I went to the new space. And so that was a clear sign that it was time for me to move into a new territory, because where I have elevated to on the inside, spiritually, and even physically, where I was starting to elevate, or where God has started to take me, was greater than that space that I was. And let me say this, it doesn't mean that your old space was a bad space or anything like that, because my old space was fabulous. I'm so grateful that I have had the opportunity to live in that area and be in that area. It allowed me to grow, and I don't have anything bad to say about my old space. It was God's plan, okay? It truly was God's plan for me to be in my old space. But the time had come to where it was time for me to move forward into the next thing that God has for me. This is actually coming back to mind too. At this point, I don't know if I had already knew that it was time for me to move, but I just remember, and it sticks out to me even now. I went to go pick up a purchase from a store that was near where I live, and obviously I know certain people will just have attitudes no matter what, okay? That just may be the place that they're in that specific time, but I just thought it was so weird. I went to go pick up a package, and it was like I went in the store, and I felt like the people that work there, and mind you, this is just like a very well-known big store. It's not like anything that's like a mom and pop. What I'm trying to say is it wasn't anything where I felt like I would have been targeted naturally. Like, just, it was just a random big corporation store. But it was small enough to where I can like pick up what I was sensing, the energy. It was so weird. And it was like I would go in the store and all the workers this might sound like dramatic, okay, but I promise you, it just felt like the workers in there was just looking at me like and it was like multiple people. Mind you, I don't know these people. It was just a random interaction, me going to pick up my order. And so I felt like, okay, that's weird. I've never felt like this being in this area. I've never felt like this ever. It wasn't nothing like a race thing or nothing like that. It was just like, okay. So to me, that was like a clear sign of like, it's time for you to go to newer things, okay? Let's just leave this behind and go to the next place. And what I will say is that I know that it is definitely a sign that you are probably supposed to move or not be in a certain area is when you're not embraced there. And again, not from a place of fear, don't move there, but when you're not any longer feeling embraced in a space, and I'm not even just talking about the people, but it seemed like stuff just keep happening in this specific space that you have moved to, or area that you have moved to, that just feels extra spiritual. It doesn't feel normal. These type of things should not be happening. That is a clear sign that you probably should not be in that space, territory, and move forward with staying there. Now, again, I'm not telling you you just need to up and move. This is something you have to discern and decide for yourself, but that could be a clear sign that you're not meant to be in that specific space, area, or territory. Okay, and this is the last thing that is coming to mind right now, and that is that you are no longer prospering in this location, in this space. Now, this obviously will be coming from more of you actually living in the area or territory. The example that I used was more so just someone just visiting and realizing like, okay, this space ain't for me, because you know how I'm stepping out, people just ain't receiving it here, okay? But this is more so you have been in a space, been in an area, been in a territory, and you notice that you're just not prospering. Okay, number 3, you're not prospering in this territory. No matter how many jobs you've applied to, no matter how many people you tried to meet, it just has not been working out for you as far as just meeting people, forming relationships. What you try to do, you just don't prosper in this space, okay? And this isn't to say at all that it's you. Now, of course, there are times where a person is not prospering because of their own things, but this is different. This is like you're actually putting in the effort, you're actually trying, you're actually putting yourself out there and different things like that, and it's just not prospering for you. You're just not making it how you're supposed to be making it. You're either, and this could be even for just a job, okay, not even just you living somewhere, but you're putting in all the work that you know that you could be putting in. That might be a clear sign that you are not meant to be in that space. I love to watch vlogs and different things like that, and this is bringing to mind somebody that I like watching their vlogs, and it was like when they were back in their hometown, and obviously they needed to be in their hometown up until this point, but they just got to this space where it was time for them to move to a new place, and they were battling so many things, just feeling depressed, just feeling confused and lost, and all of these things, irritable, not happy. Soon as they moved into this new territory, even though at first it did kind of take a little adjusting, I can clearly see this person is happy now. This person is getting opportunities and prospering. And it was almost like, just being somebody like a viewer, it looked like it happened just like that. So that's a clear sign that the time has ticked for this old territory. It's time for you to move forward, okay? All right, you guys, that's all that I have for this video. If you feel like you have been trying to build a life in a territory, if you feel like you've been come from a specific territory and things just don't feel the same anymore, you feel like you need to be in a new space or whatever the case may be, I am here to encourage you to really reassess your life. And if you are meant to actually still be in this specific space, if you're actually meant to be in this specific area, to move forward with your dreams. I'm thinking now, even now, I have a client that came to me, and this client, when I was working on them, when I was helping them, they were just talking about the different the work that they wanted to do. Now, this work could be done in different spaces, but as this person was talking, I just had this knowing. It's like God just put in my heart that this person was supposed to move to New York. And so I tell the person, I was like, I just feel like you need to move to New York. Like, you're supposed to move to New York. You're not supposed to be here. Would you know that as soon as I told the person, they were like, how did you know that? How did you know that? And then the person goes into detail to tell me that because the person is settled here, but in their heart, they really just felt the desire, I guess, to go to New York. Mind you, didn't tell me anything about this. So as I just said it, the person is like, yeah, I've been looking at apartments and places like months ago about moving to the place. When they said this, it was like, like, wow. I was like amazed, like in shock. So all of that to say, sometimes you won't get to the highest level of success and make it to where you're meant to be until you make the move, until you get in the specific area and territory and places that you are meant to be and make a difference in. Even if it's just for you to live the life that you want, okay? It requires you to go to a certain territory sometimes. Now, this may not be for everybody. I truly do believe that there are some people that are just called to be in one space. Maybe you were meant to be born in this space and you're meant to stay in that space. So yeah, it's not for everyone. This does require discernment and just knowing what is for you. So I thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.